What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Get to the Cards, John. I've had a pretty big amount of complaints about sponsored content everywhere, when in the last video, only 1 out of the 4 non-card things were sponsored, and more people complaining about why aren't there more time with cards on here. It's because I have insight into markets like these that I like to bring it up, and exactly what happened here, it sold out over the weekend at a limit 1 per household at one of the biggest retailers in Japan that ships internationally. And one of your only other options right now that I know of is Big Bad Toy Store, which is going to freight ship it super slow most likely. I've had experiences with that. So that's why the shipping is so cheap, and there's a bit of an upcharge versus the price. It's going to just go on a boat for a couple of months towards you. With this though, it does tell me there's either a super low stock of this or a very high demand of this monster arts, and I personally have made thousands to pour back into my Godzilla figures of buying and reselling monster arts. Like this, the Kiryu, this is not the first, but the second rewave, which is also why when I showed Red Eyes, I said they could rewave this in the future with a different color palette, so be aware of that if you're trying to hold on super long term. But this is the second rewave of Kiryu, which it retailed at $120, and the lowest listing on eBay now with sales is $330, even during the slowdown of the toy and statue market. I personally care about this stuff, which is why I bring it up. I have insight into it, and there is a market for it. If you don't like it, go ahead and fast forward through these segments at times. I personally don't mind, but you might miss out on, non-sponsored again, the gift cards on TCG Player, and you want to read through these terms and services. First off, there's a limit of 500 credit to build this way, and they have a deal of $50 get 5 back, $100 get 15, $200 get 40 back. This is not sponsored, it's just good spending, and it does seem more and more like winter clearance and winter deals are consistently better than Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Gift cards, a lot of companies hope that you end up not eventually spending them, which is why they give kind of huge deals like this, and also that $40 is the max you're able to spend per item, so you can't like use that whole 500 extra credit in order to dunk it all one place. But this is exceptional. It's really good. Getting 20% back here, when bonus bucks deals go crazy, it's 10-12%. So I definitely think sinking it in, as long as you remember and keep them, it's a good idea. But they even say, hey, we're not responsible for loss of credit and stuff like that. There's limitations, be aware of these. So go through the terms, and again, there is a max credit that you can build on these. Now, the sponsored bit would be when you do get that in, use my TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. I just think this is pretty smart to have if you're going to be shopping cardboard on TCG Player later anyways. Now, and a little bit of I told you so and then dunking on myself after, Magicians of Bond and Unity. I told you this was no 10,000 Dragon with the 5 iterations and the second typing and all that stuff. I pretty much said stay away, especially with the Age of Overlord one. At first, I thought first iteration, I could see how it's good. I can see why people are hyping up. It fell off. And if the first one's falling off, you can bet the others will fall off harder. This started pre-sales probably around the 120. You can see some even sold at 160 here. Tried to hold the line at 60. People are trying to buy back. No, no. It's at $47. A collectible made to be a collectible does not always succeed. Do keep that in mind. Hida, the Fire Charmer, the Starlight Rare is doing numbers. So is the OTS Super Rare. Be aware these are big up, and we probably should have all seen this coming with Fire Kings being at the forefront of talk, and Structure decks also being far more impactful time and time again. Even when they don't do a full takeover, they're in a lot of people's hands, so people get the support cards to go with them, and stuff like this happens. Heck, even the certain versions of this are starting to go a little, but not too crazy. I would still get your copy even in the lower end sooner than later, probably though, with the top ends going this crazy. King's Copium, my self-dunk. Now, this is where I'm not always right, but I was initially. I said I was going to keep this long-term comfortably. I still have mine. Oof, Rarity Collection really hurt this one. The better Pharaoh's rares coming out made these Pharaoh rares just look pretty terrible. Even the misprints, which maybe were on purpose since Konami next time laid into doing Secret in the US Ultra over there, although it was primarily still Ultra. The Secret are super hard to get. The Secrets have fallen out too. Pretty much everything in here is going down. If somebody in the market overall is telling you they're always right, they're lying to you. They can be right a lot of the time, right for the wrong reasons a lot of the time. I was right for very specific reasons on this. I said 5 to 6 things out of 7 that had to happen with the set for an initial success, but it has done nothing but a decline for a good bit right now if you're holding long term like me. Age of Overlord has no problem selling itself, and in fact, it is defying the winter coolant harder than ever. The wanted stuff is continuing to spike, although some stuff is cooling down. Like, look over here. I'm SETI. Horus is actually market price 55 with a good amount of listings under that. In fact, the entire front page, although half is taken up by foreign cards, so we go to the next part, and in fact, the next whole page is 52 or under. So this is repopulating a good bit here as people more so seek out the wanted engine. The wanted engine also, like, you have the Dibel Star, it is going up, and I did suggest getting those probably sooner than later because it's part of the engine and seemed pretty cheap. It's going up, and Super Star Slayer is starting to peak its head back up, super low on quantities. I did think this would be one of the first $40 ultra rares in a bit, and it could still see that day here as it goes that way. See, I can be right sometimes for the right reasons, right for the wrong reasons, and then just dead wrong at times. Runic Slumbers Ultra Rare did a little spike-a-rooney as the rare is sitting there just for hollowing out the deck, mix and matching, getting those high rarity stun cards. Planet Pollutant Virus. This is a card I haven't looked at in a long time outside of bulk picking. Tribute an alien monster, destroy all face-up monsters with A counters your opponent controls until the end of your opponent's third turn after this card's activation. Place an A counter on each monster they summon. Somebody said Edison. I believe it. Let me know if there's another reason, but this is absolutely bonkers. $12 is the lowest buyout mode at 4, with even sales at $8 and $9. People are jumping on this one. Let me know if it is Edison. It sounds about right. Now, what isn't past format is the new Lightsworn support, and even the top end like Lumina has movement en masse for the first time in a long time. Look at this. All the light plays even are flying near mint sale at 300, and she'd been sitting there for a good amount of time. The lowest now is $400 for the only near mint on market. Super Lumina was so hard to get even back in the day. People didn't want to let it go at full price when it was like 80. They would ask for 100. They wanted the juice. It makes a lot of sense that this would be at the forefront of the buyouts. And the Minerva, which the huge discussion is, it'll probably be in the Battles of Legend Chapter 1, but how much of that is going to get open? We've had that problem of things respiking. The reprint will offer some coolant. Some people are going to guaranteed open it up should the reprint make it, which it most likely will. And yeah, so this is spiking real hard into a set that could potentially have it within. Phantasme is going up for so many different versions. Check out the Dual Overload version in particular. This is up towards $12, $13. This is wild to me. And again, hand traps for the format. Sometimes the format comes back around to me. Oh man, Ancient Gear Fortress coming out of a structure deck. Are you ready for this? $15+ and quickly up towards 30. I wouldn't be buying this. There's also new Ancient Gear stuff, and so new Lightsworn stuff is why Lightsworn spiked. New Ancient Gear stuff has Ancient Gear Fortress going. Ancient Gear Ballista makes a bit more sense to me. It's been played outside of the deck, Earth Machine, etc. And also, it's a really good link that could fall fall back to an okay price if the buyout didn't work. But right now, the lowest are $14 towards $15 in buyout mode. And then Ancient Gear Fusion, a card that once was really hard to get from being only in Legendary Duels to Ancient Millennium, had its reprint. It's done a couple things over time in terms of price spikes. Secret Rare looks super nice. Ultra Rare, very hard to get. And then you're stuck with a Gold Letter Rare. You know, the Ultra Rares with no foiling. This is probably the version you don't want to get stuck with if you want to enjoy looking at your cards, but being me, I don't care what I'm playing at times, but if it was my pet deck, you bet I would have Secret Rare on that or Duelist Pack Ultra. I would not be stuck with this in this one situation, especially with an anime deck. Come on, you gotta flex a little with those. Casual doesn't mean broke. Broke means broke. And it's okay to go with the lower rarity versions. Jokes aside, like, there's been a lot of times where I've personally gone just as cheap as possible at the regionals, common DD Crows, that kind of stuff. Don't let anyone actually make fun of you for it. It's more just a passing conversation. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch, including the figures, because there is an entire market, and I know it's newer to the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Y'all might not be here for it completely. I appreciate those who do just nod. I don't care. Try to skip to the next thing and see what's up. But for me, I care pretty deeply about the merch, and I personally enjoy, like, the banners, the wall scrolls, those kind of things, and a ton of people come to my DMs to ask it, and it's way easier to put it out here, especially when I think there's a rush reason to order it, such as in this case where one weekend and it was gone from the pre-orders in Japan here.